Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Pathfinder lair. Teamwork is vital in Pathfinder 2e. It can turn a very tough encounter into a trivial one. Some people understand this, and others do not. But it is also really hard to think of this game from a teamwork standpoint, especially if you played other systems. Everybody picks Sudden Charge as their first level barbarian feat because they think it's the optimal choice. Don't get me wrong, it's a good feat. But, depending on your barbarian build, Raging Intimidation may be the better teamwork feat. Anyway, I'm doing a build video today. Today's build is the Harmacist Alchemist. This build specializes in debuffing with bombs and toxins. I chose this build to start with because I feel like a lot of you would probably build your alchemist in a similar way. However, I will be explaining each of my feat choices from a teamwork standpoint, not from the standpoint of how good it is for your character. Please note that I will be using the Toxicologist research field for this build. However, you could also build this build using the Bomber research field. If this is the case, then try to take the Bomber feats first and then the Toxicologist related feats. Let's start with Ancestry. For our Ancestry, we are picking the Hobgoblin Ancestry. We need Intelligence because, duh, we're an alchemist, and Constitution is going to help us with our survivability. For our free boost, we want to pick Dexterity. This is a ranged character build, so we need our Dexterity to be high. We will need our Strength, too, for our bombs, but we'll get that from other sources. Our Charisma will help us with our Intimidation as well. This will further debuff the enemies that we're already debuffing. Our flaw in Wisdom doesn't really matter because we won't need Wisdom for this build. For our Heritage, we're picking the Steelskin Hobgoblin Heritage. We don't really need Ancestry feats from other ancestries, so the Versatile Heritages are out. And there really isn't a Hobgoblin Heritage that's going to help us work with our team, except in specific circumstances. So we're just going to pick the best one that we can get. Now let's talk about Ancestry Feats. The first Ancestry feat we want to take is Alchemical Scholar. This feat simply gives us more alchemical formulas. More alchemical formulas equals more versatility, and more versatility means we can work better with our team. It's as simple as that. The next feat we want to take is Expert Drill Sergeant. There really isn't another Ancestry feat we can take at this level that's going to help the party. With this feat, we can help our party members during exploration. Gaining a +1 to a skill check is good at any level, and this feat can give your party members up to a +4 during exploration. It doesn't give you the bonus, but that's not what this build is about. It is a fantastic teamwork out of combat feat. For our 9th level Ancestry feat, we're going to be taking Pride in Arms. This feat simply allows us to keep our allies up longer. Immediate temporary hit points when they down a foe, pretty good. Can't Fall Here is another fantastic teamwork Ancestry feat. This feat allows you to bring an adjacent ally immediately up from 0 hit points. They do still gain the wounded condition, but it's still a good feat. The last Ancestry feat we want to take is Rallying Cry. The Ancestry feats we've taken so far were good, but this feat takes it to a whole new level compared to them. This feat allows us to give all our allies temporary hit points and the Quicken condition. They can only use the extra action to move or attack, but it's still a great feat, a ridiculous one in fact. There is definitely a reason why you can't take this feat until 17th level. For background, I chose the criminal background, but you could really pick any background you wanted for this build. Just make sure that you can pick up both dexterity and intelligence as ability boosts from whatever background you pick. For your skill increases and skill feats, the ones you want to focus on are stealth, crafting, and medicine. Some feats you might take include Swift Sneak, so you can move at full speed while sneaking. Continual Recovery, so you can heal your party members as much as you want outside of combat. And Magical Crafting, so you can make magic items for your party members. Other than that, just pick feats that you think will help the party based on those skills. Now let's talk about class feats. The first feat we want to take for this build is Alchemical Familiar. There are lots of familiar abilities that might help us, but the one we want to take the most is the Valet ability. This is going to help us with our action economy, and better action economy means we can help out the team more. If you want to know exactly what that familiar ability does, you can check out my familiars video in the card. The next feat we want to take for this build is Subtle Delivery. A lot of alchemical poisons don't inflict conditions until the second stage. This feat allows us to get our opponents into that second stage more easily. This in turn means more debuffs, which is going to help our party. Efficient Alchemy is the next feat we are going to take for this build. This will allow us to make more alchemical items during downtime. Don't forget that we can give our alchemical items to other party members. Thanks to our Alchemical Scholar Ancestry Feat, we're going to have a lot of alchemical formulas. We are not going to be able to just pick bombs and poisons. We're also going to need to pick up elixirs. This feat will allow us to more evenly distribute these items to our party members. Sticky Poison will allow us to keep our poisons in certain situations. Poisons don't work like other afflictions. Every time we hit an opponent with the same poison, it forces them to make another saving throw. If they fail on the saving throw, then the poison stage goes up by 1. This feat is just another way of debuffing the enemy faster. Pinpoint Poisoner debuffs the enemy's saves against our poisons. If we hit a flat-footed enemy with a weapon that is poisoned, then they also take a -2 penalty on their saving throw. This feat also works for inhaled poisons. This feat just gives us more of a chance to debuff the enemy. There's only one more feat for our poisons that we want to take in this build, but we can't take it until level 16. So now we'll start taking bomb feats. But first we should take Perpetual Breath. We can already make some poisons without using reagents. This feat will add a type of bomb to that list. You can pick just about any type of bomb you want for this feat, but I would recommend picking up Bottled Lightning. Bottled Lightnings already debuff the enemy without us even having to take a feat or anything. They make the enemy flat-footed. The next two feats we want to take are Debilitating Bomb and Greater Debilitating Bomb. These two feats allow our bombs to debuff the enemies in ways that our poisons aren't. This build is all about debuffs, so having more of them under our belt is always good. Chemical Contagion allows our poisons to spread like diseases. If an enemy fails its initial saving throw against a poison, you can use a reaction to expose an adjacent enemy. This allows us to debuff even more enemies than we were already doing. With True Debilitating Bomb, we have even more choices for debuffs when we use our bombs. The last class feat we want to take for this build is Perfect Debilitation. This feat allows us to debuff enemies we hit with our bombs even if they succeed on their saving throw. They do still avoid the debuff if they critically succeed on their saving throw though, so there's that. But at most they're going to succeed on their saving throw about 80% of the time. And that's going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more Pathfinder 2nd Edition content. If you want to see this build in more detail, you can pledge me on Patreon at large layer or higher. You can also check out my social media. Links are in the description. So until next time, let's play some Pathfinder.